All right, so let's talk about VA loan limits for 2025 and how there are none, okay? So this is something that comes up still 6 years after the fact from time to time, where I will tell a realtor, I will tell a borrower that they don't have loan limits to worry about. So if we happen to be dealing with $1 million property, a $2 million property, and one of my clients goes in and they make an offer with a VA loan for 0 down, and I get the phone call that says, hey, this is a $2 million property, you put $0 on the pre-approval. My answer is yes, I did. Because there's no loan limits. And then they go back, they're like, oh, well, that's not what I heard. And then I refer them back to the Blue Water Navy Veteran Act of 2019 when the VA got rid of loan limits. See, prior to 2019, the VA did have loan limits. They followed the conforming loan limit from Freddie Mac, right? But with the passage of that act, they went away. So if you have no entitlement wrapped up in another property, you can absolutely put 0 down on a house. VA loan limits only come into play when you have entitlement wrapped up in another property that you don't want to sell, that you don't want to refinance. So you want to maintain that VA loan on that property, but you also want to buy a new home using your remaining VA loan entitlement, okay? There's a calculation that we use to figure out what you could buy with 0 down. If you go over that number, I have another calculation. I literally have a calculator I made myself that will tell you the exact dollar amount that you have to put down to go over your max 0 down number, okay? Now, when you're buying a $1 million house, a $2 million house, like in the conventional world, that would be considered a jumbo loan. In the VA world, it's just considered a VA loan. There's no additional requirements. You're still not gonna have mortgage insurance. They're gonna be more aggressive on rate. You're still able to put 0 down. There won't be a requirement for reserves like you're gonna find in the jumbo conventional world, right? So when you are buying those really big, beautiful homes, you don't have the additional overlays that lenders put on their jumbo programs because the VA will still guarantee these things. Now, being eligible and being qualified to buy are two very different things, okay? Being eligible to buy a $2 million, a $5 million, or a $10 million house with nothing down is not the same as being qualified to buy. We still have to make sure that your residual income is in line, your debt ratios, if you will. I know it's not a debt ratio loan, but for the purposes of this video, we'll call it that. We just have to make sure that you can afford the debt. That's what matters. So being eligible to buy, that just says, hey, I can buy any property that I want with a VA loan for as much as I want. Being qualified to buy, that means now we're looking at income, we're looking at the mortgage payment, we're looking at your assets, making sure that you have money for cash to close, closing costs, right? And we're making sure that you can afford the monthly payment, okay? So just because you can put 0% down and buy for $10 million, it doesn't mean that you can afford it. And honestly, a lot of the times when I talk to people and they find out what they can afford, it usually exceeds what they're comfortable with. So when we have our conversation, let's stick to what you're comfortable with, because I don't want you to call me in 5 years because I let you do something that wasn't good for you financially, okay? So again, to wrap up, there are no loan limits on VA loans ever since the passage of the Blue Water Navy Veteran Act. Feel free to Google it, learn some things. New things get released on VA every day. So it's 2025 now. It has been 6 years almost since this act passed of no loan limits. Guys, this is a lot of information to digest. I know I throw a lot of information your way. My name is Joey Matthews. The VA Loan Nerd exists because veterans need more help than they're getting in the market right now, okay? I am personally licensed in 45 states plus DC. The only places where I would send you to a friend who's just as good at VA is if you happen to live in Alaska, if you're in Rhode Island, Delaware, Vermont, or New York. I'm working on those licenses, but in the meantime, I can set you up with somebody that can make things happen. Please reach out with your questions, 630-235-2405. Email me at info@thevalonenerd.com. Let's get you into that next house. Let's make sure our veterans are being taken care of.